Okay, from DMAC to debt-free doctorate is the story of Sarah Thompson, who will graduate with her Doctorate of Physical Therapy in May 2020 from the Des Moines University, but it all started 7 years ago at DMAC. One obstacle to women's success is student loan debt. Women hold 2/3 of the outstanding student loan debt in the United States. At the time, Sarah worked as a cashier in a pharmacy in Madrid, Iowa, and wanted to pay her way through school. So she began with a 1-year technical program at DMAC in the Health and Public Services building. And I was able to sit down with her in that building, in that top right corner, actually, and this is what we talked about.
I'd been to a lot of other colleges, but I really wanted to save a lot of money and get a job quickly to work through the rest of college if I decided to go. And I was working at a Medicap pharmacy in Madrid as a pharmacy support person, so just with the register, cleaning, that sort of thing. And they suggested getting a pharmacy technician certification degree, and they would potentially hire me. So that kind of got me started.
Students at DMAC start in technical programs, half start in liberal arts degrees. But Sarah was very conscientious of her finances. At the same time, she wanted flexibility, and this is how she approached the very beginning of her college career.
It was a shorter program, so the one at DMAC's 3 semesters. It's relatively cheaper too. And then just knowing that there were a lot of jobs out there for this.
Still are.
Yeah. So just seeing that aspect too was like, I can potentially get a job right away after I get the certification and start making some money. And then if I decide to do more after that, then I can. And if I don't, then I don't have to. I did that. So after graduating from the pharmacy tech program, I decided to get my AS almost right away to keep going with that. And I had gotten hired at that pharmacy still, so I could work as a pharmacy tech. And then I took all of those. So chemistry, inorganic chemistry 1 and 2, anatomy and phys 1 and 2, biology 1 and 2, stats, and honors.
After earning her associates, she transferred to Iowa State University, and I asked her about her transition.
I lived off campus, but in Ames, at a house with 2 roommates, and one of the roommates was one person that I knew. So otherwise, the other 3 people I did know, they were graduated from my high school class, so I knew of them before, and they had been going to Iowa State since they graduated.
And did you go right to 300 level classes, or were there a couple 200s that you maybe had to take?
A couple. Not too many. I had to take trigonometry, and then just the entry level to your major, so pre-health, pre-physical therapy, that type of thing. But otherwise, I did start with those 300 almost right away.
Tell me a little bit about what it is to apply to a professional school. So you made it sound like just apply to these 5 schools, it all worked out.
It was actually pretty intense. So it's an online application. It's called a PT-CAS, I believe. And you have to have references. You have to have at least 1 physical therapist. I think you have to have 3 references, I think. And you want them from people who know how you work and how you think and how your work ethic. And then you have to have your observation hours in. You have to enter in every single class you took. So it's all in this online application. I think it took me 2 weeks to finish. It is nice because with physical therapy, you're with these people every single day for the entire day. So you see them all the time. And I think you just try to develop study habits with people. Like, how do they study? Oh, I study the same way. Or you just go home and you do your own thing. Or do you want a group study? A lot of it, we had a lot of labs. So you would do a lot of things hands-on. And I think that's where you started to find out who you got along with the best. Like, who's learning this the way I am, and talking to people. That was kind of the best way that I found to form relationships. I think it depends a lot on what you've experienced so far, where your clinicals have been, to help you decide what you want to do. Some people already know going into PT school what they would like to do. Some of my classmates did. They were like, I'm going to be a pediatric physical therapist. And I was like, okay, you can do it. It's probably not where I want to go, but honestly, I was just kind of open to whatever. I didn't really have a specific specialty I wanted to go in yet. Like you said before, I don't have any loans right now. Part of it was I worked throughout college to keep that up, and then my parents had a college savings fund.
Oh, they did?
So that kind of got me through.
No debt.
No debt. Yep. And they have an estimation cost on their website that goes through like what tuition is, but then what they're estimated you're going to spend while you're in school. And I actually did a little bit of that in my head because I was curious, like, okay, I might be able to pay tuition, but what else am I going to have to pay for out of pocket? And I think they overestimated a little bit.
Well,
so if
that the other way.
Yeah. So I think that was kind of a nice realization, like, oh, okay, if I do this, then I can save some money here. And living at home definitely helped with that. But I think they overestimated some things.
Is there anything you would tell your younger self that, like, just avoid this, or you're going to do a great job, don't even worry about it, it's all going to work out?
Oh, I'd probably tell myself studying habits, like what worked best. It's funny though too, because I had to change my study habits throughout PT school.
Oh, you did?
Yeah. So some things worked well doing it one way, but other things worked well doing it another. So a lot of the repetition, like flashcards or Quizlet, I use Quizlet all the time. That was great for anatomy, things you just needed to know, like off the top of your head, be like, what is the innervation for this muscle? And you'd be like, I know it because of flashcards. But there's so much of PT school that is more just critical thinking. So you can't really study for that. You just have to logically go through what you know and be like, this is the right answer because of this. So that was harder to study for. A lot of times I would have to study in groups so we could discuss things, and that was another way to study. So I had to change things up.
When you hear your story, it sounds like it all was going to work out from the very beginning. But as you kind of went through it, how did you just stay so flexible?
Yeah, I did a lot of praying. To be honest, I did a lot of talking with people like you, advisors. You were actually probably the most helpful. I had an advisor at ISU there, but it was a lot of talking to my parents, talking to you, talking to friends, talking to people who've had experiences like this. So other physical therapists. How did you do it? How did you get through school? What worked best for you? Just a lot of conversations. I know, I did all of this. It was a lot of emails. Not a lot of face-to-face, but it was either face-to-face or emails. I don't like calling people, but
it all worked out.
It did. And I guess I would just say, too, going into college, apply for as many scholarships that you can.
Ultimately, Sarah was able to complete 4 degrees in 7 years and graduate without debt. She'll begin a position as a physical therapist in the summer, is newly married, and can move forward unencumbered. It all started with a 1-year technical program and an open mindset at DMAC.